Jazz, Black Vanilla. Okay, tribe. How's everyone doing? Got this effect on there. I would like to take this off. What is this? Oh, no. No. I don't know what this is. Okay. Okay, so that's back to normal. All right, so I got these downloads. I got 7 of them. Okay. So it's a nice day. First of all, I want to say I pray that everyone is in good spirits and in with good spirits. Over here on this channel, we do not condemn, we encourage, and we enlighten. Okay, so as I woke from my sleep state earlier, I began to write down downloads. Now, I was at this place once before in my journey, and I kind of moved away from it. So now I'm back at it. So as you can see, I don't have any cards. There's no cards needed. This is purely collective energy. So these downloads, they should resonate. And if they don't, maybe next time they will. But nevertheless, let's jump right into it. So first download. Protection prayers and return to senders is causing karma to be delivered to different addresses. Okay? Now, I don't know if anybody ever told you this, but if you're a person and you suffer spiritual attack, in any way it may show up, from a person, a place, an energy, you have a right to protect yourself. So in this energy, I'm seeing people, and you know, your return to senders and your prayers for protection, a lot of things that were affecting you, they were reaching you because they were addressed to you. See, when people do spell work or cast energies towards you, they have a fundamental principle where they address it to you. So because it's returning a sender, it's returning to different addresses. So a lot of people in your energy that try to do things to you, let's be honest, their families are suffering, people dear to them are suffering, and there's really nothing that you can do about it except keep moving and keep on being rooted and grounded. And whatever your process is, you got to trust in it at this point. Because protection prayers, it's like you can't pray for protection, and then when your people get to protecting you, spirit team, ancestors, now you feel a certain type of way about it. Well, it doesn't work like that. Like, you got to make a decision. Second download. If you're having trouble accepting who you are, right? Acknowledge this too about others. So I'm speaking to a person right now. You know, you could be walking in your ascension, and you could be showing up different in the world altogether. And because of this, you know, even when you think of you, with all the stuff that you did and the person that you were, you showing up and you having trouble accepting who you are, right? God has told you to be about this certain mission. So you learning your way. As you learn your way, you having trouble accepting who you are. So you have to acknowledge this too about others. Like, people not just going to accept the new you. Just because you knew and you did some work and you show up, that doesn't mean people going to take you. People going to charge you with everything you did. People going to charge you for everything you were. So it would behoove you to give them, at least acknowledge what they go through, because everything is not, it's not maleficum all the time. Like, everybody's intention is not bad. Some people, they just don't know how to accept the new version of you. And that's something that's going to require time, and it's going to require patience on your behalf. See, it's not in your assignment to get people to accept you. That's not part of your assignment. Your assignment is to do the mission. People going to accept you when they ready to accept you. And as long as they don't, it's still a need for you to just keep moving. Like, you got a job to do either way, whether people accept you or whether they don't. It really doesn't matter at this point. But you do have to acknowledge their difficulty. Like, for you not to acknowledge it, it means that you're not unwise. I mean, you're not wise. Like, any type of wisdom, it will allow you to see, okay, this person is having a problem with the new version of me. Let me be patient. Let me listen more. Because the new version of you, you might want to go forward. You might want to say what's on your mind. And you expect people to fall in line, but they won't, because they having trouble accepting you, you know. You even forcing some people out of your energy. And when you force a codependent person out of your energy, you know, you still should have a certain amount of empathy. Like, I'm not saying, you know, succumb to what they bringing, or I'm not saying, you know, break your neck to go out your way. But if you know you just kick somebody out your energy, and you know you trying to move forward, You can't look at the person like, y'all kicked you out my energy because you holding me up. That's not humility, right? You got to get a person, at least empathy. Even if you're not answering the call, you at least got to get them benefit of the doubt. I mean, a wise person would, and explain to them. Before you just don't answer, explain to them why. So you can leave them with something that can help them grow. Like just vanishing, ghosting people and claiming that you're doing better. I really don't think that's a righteous way to go about it. Like, I mean, you got to be responsible for who you are. And you're not a person that's supposed to ascend and just leave people ripped and torn in your wake. No, it's your duty still to assist, right? No, I'm not saying lose your grounding or lose your footing for nobody. But when you go to cutting people out your energy, or you dealing with the energy of people not really accepting you for who you are or what you're trying to be, right? It's on you to learn how to balance your response to it. Because truth be told, everything don't even need a response. Like, and again, people gonna feel how they gonna feel. So if you moving and it's predicated upon how people feel, you never gonna get far. We already have enough trouble trying to motivate ourselves to move. So why let what other people say in? Moving right along to the next prayer, to the next download. Fight for what's worth fighting for. And that's real strong. That came through my intuition like 6:30 a.m. I woke up and I typed it in the tablet, right? I heard that song by Brian, I think it's called Brian Wilson, where he made, Lord, you made me deep in my despair to show me how much you really care. You claimed because I was made for so much more, right? So you have to fight for what's worth fighting for in this energy. That could be an array of things. I'm going to just tap into some of the energies that I'm feeling. First, relationships, right? You got to really determine which ones are worth fighting for and which ones are not. Because the ones that are worth fighting for, it's the need for you to put your all into them. Like relationships with your children. If you married and you got, because I'm going to tell you something. If you're in a marriage, thank you, Spirit, you married and you decided to ascend, but your partner didn't, that doesn't give you a right to discard that person. You're still in a marriage. See, if you ascend and your partner's not willing to ascend, you got to be patient. It's your duty to cover that person. I know that's a hard pill to swallow for somebody, but that's part of your karma. And until it clear out, right, you have certain grounds for divorce, right? I believe adultery is one. I believe also spiritually, according to spiritual law, if somebody actually tries to unalive you, that kind of breaches the spiritual contract. So you do have a way to separate yourself then. But I'm not trying to give nobody a way out of their responsibilities or duties, but I'm just telling you what the real is. Like, if you ascend and you marry and your partner don't decide to follow the same walk, you're still bonded to that agreement. You got to go to the Most High. And it could be a need for you to fight for it. Just because somebody don't see it your way right now, keep on living. If you be a living example, a lot of people really, they don't know what to believe in anymore, right? I've never came to that place where I don't know what to believe in. I've come to a place where I question those who said they believed in things. I'd rather question men before I ever question or misplace my faith. So I thank God, hand raised, I've never been a person like that, right? So I'm not going to just succumb to what people suggest or what different spirits bring me and whisper to me. No, I'm going to fight for what's worth fighting for, right? Your mind and your conscience is one. Your faith, your religion, your precepts and your concepts, right? You can't just go throwing away everything that you learn because you claim you're ascending. You're going to find your place. You're going to find yourself lost. See, one thing we got to realize, no matter what level you at, everything you learned as you was living life, it was conducive to getting you to this level. So you can't just go discarding things you learned because you learned something new. You gotta fight for, what's worth fighting for. Your mind. You gotta fight for your mind. It's so many things, right? You pick up the phone. It's a bunch of different programming that's fighting for your attention. So you gotta find a way to disengage from it. If this is you, some people, they can do it, Some people content create, but what I'm saying is, you gotta find a way to literally fight in your life for what's worth fighting for. You can't give up on those things, no matter how hard it gets. You gotta continue to fight for it. And it's not always gonna be easy. I'm a person that can tell you, but if you live a certain way hard, it becomes easy. If you live a certain way easy, it makes the routine harder. So you gotta find a way to go harder at the way you live in, whichever way you live in, right? Because the only way you're gonna be able to really fight with strength for what's worth fighting for is if you really, really committed to doing it. It's not easy to change. It's not easy to be attached to somebody that doesn't see things your way. It's not easy to be humble when God is telling you to be humble, but everything in your ego is telling you to not be humble. Everything in your ego is telling you to throw your hands up and don't fight no more, right? You gotta learn how to go against that. You know what is worth fighting for? The things that give you life. Because sometimes, Swear want me tap on this. Because you get a little bit of money or a little bit of status, a little bit of fame, a little bit of liberty, right? A little bit of freedom. That doesn't mean that you look at a blessing that God gave you, whether it be a person, a place, or a thing, and then you say to that thing, oh, that ain't good enough for me because I'm moving on. You moving backwards. You gonna make the same thing that blessed you curse you. That's not how it works. You gotta appreciate the thing that God gave you. You fight for them. A person, a place, or a thing. Whatever level God gave it to you, because some people, you got things when you was at the lowest level, and now that you got a little bit of money or a little bit of status, you want to discard the things that you got at the lower level. Well, that's going to be your curse. That kind of energy will curse you. The universe will frown on you. You have to show appreciation for the smallest thing that God gave you, if God truly gave it to you. And in regards to people, sometimes God gives you a person that get on your nerves, and that be your test. You got a little freedom now, so you got the nerve to say that somebody who fed you get on your nerves. You got a little bit of freedom now, and you want to run the streets all night long. You got a little bit of money now, you got a better job. Now you want to let your eyes roam to the thing that you keep secretly hidden in your heart. But the universe is going to frown down on that. It's not a time to play around with the energies. It's not. Particularly when you know better. And people who I'm speaking to, you already had spiritual experiences. So you already know better. Remember, he who knows to do and does not beat with many stripes, right? So when you got spiritual knowledge, when things go wrong, you know why they going wrong. When we got spiritual knowledge and God gives you authority, God gives you a permission, and God gives you space to move, even in a gift, how dare any one of us look at anything that God gave us and discredit it or belittle it because we got a little bit of freedom. The same way it's given is the same way it's taken away. Let's always keep sight of that, so we can fight for what's worth fighting for, right? I don't care what the world telling you, because the world could be coming in and offering you all these glam and glitz, and then you looking at what God gave you is all dull and shiny and then collected dust. So now That thing that God gave you is dull and shiny. It's all dusty. Well, why not have the presence of mind to go clean it off, right? Re-embellish it. Why have an attitude of I'm gonna leave the dull thing and go for the shiny thing that's offered? Okay. Okay. This is an important one. When old things come back, make new decisions. You hear me? When old things come back, make new decisions. That's in every case. That's every case. It is. I feel Spirit is giving me so much strength and authority to say there's no exception to that rule. When old things come back, you gotta make new decisions. You can't decide from an old place about something old. Ain't nobody strong enough to do that. You're gonna slip right back into your old way of thinking. When somebody come in with some old conversation, maintain your frequency, right? And respond from your present frequency. Don't turn yourself down to respond because you're gonna lose. You can't go on the enemy ground and fight the enemy, even from within. So when old things arise, make new decisions about them. Make new decisions, right? Make a decision from your present function. Under the unction of your spirit, make that decision. Don't lean out of your spirit and lean back. Because you know how people call you. You get that call, you know, what you been up to? What's good? Because some people, they have, okay, Spirit want me to dive deep. See, we have given some people authority over our body by the way we let them, we let them in our sacral energy. And once we let them in our sacral energy, our sexual energy, some people, they are very powerful and they are very dark and they are very sexual. And sometimes they will come in and on a certain level, they will dominate you, right? Now, you got these people that'll come back in your energy because they're aware that you were dominated, so they respond from that place. It's to connect with you. You know how they call? What you been up to? I ain't heard from you in a minute. What's going on with you? You know, how when they come in with that energy right there, you gotta peep the play. If you don't peep the play, you're gonna fall victim. You gotta make a new decision. That's coming from an old place. You know how I would deal with it? When it come in, hey, how you, man, look, I ain't with it. Hey, girl, look, I ain't with it. No, I ain't with none of it. Nope, I ain't with it. That's not even, no. You gotta stand firm and you gotta be like that. Because if you go back, oh man, I'm hearing Biggie Smalls. Somebody want that old thing back. Like, you actually see, now you gotta deal with that on another level. If you a person that you still have a desire for an old thing, I know it's a little bit different, but you still gotta find a way to make a new decision. Even if it's to protect yourself. You know, if you find yourself going back and it's a tantric situation, you know, make sure you protect yourself. Okay, y'all. I appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. Okay. Now this is for, because I had an energy of somebody in a 12-step recovery program, right? It could be violence, it could be addictions, but I wanna say this to encourage you. Take your gift into every meeting with you, right? Maybe you didn't before. Maybe you went to your meetings and you were silent. You may be an intuitive. You may be a reader. You may be a healer. You may be a seer, right? Well, begin to take your gift in the meeting with you, right? Don't be afraid to let people know what your gift is. If you go to a meeting of some sort, right? And I want to encourage those who do attend meetings, right? if you attend a meeting as a source of strength, be encouraged. But also, take your gift with you. Don't leave your gift outside. Begin to communicate. Allow your gift to make a way for itself. And in doing so, it'll make a way for you, your gift alone. Because what we do is we push the gift down and then we try to make a way. No, the gift will always make a way for itself. Never forget that. Your gift, if you put your gift on display in your life, it's going to lead you into areas that you never would have been able to figure out. So for my ones that go into your meetings, whatever sort of meeting, it could be business meetings or whatever. Take your gift. Okay, this is another deep one. Feminine energy is needed for guidance and nurturing at this time. 9 years, we live in a year 9, right? Added up, equal birth, manifestation, and abundance, okay? Now, in order to receive this, authority has to be in place to sustain it, right? Think about it. When a child is born, this is year 9, the year of abundance and manifestation. When a child is born, a child is not going to get very far without the feminine energy that nurtures the child, whether it be a man or a woman. That's the same aspect on a universal scale. The feminine energy is needed for guidance. It's needed for guidance and it's needed for nurturing. See, there's many gifts coming in. There's a lot of abundance coming in, but we're not going to be able to sustain it if we don't revere the feminine energy, if we don't really place, and this is for my feminines, right? It's time to step out of the role of, turn down. It's time to build up with your words. Because, as a woman, I'm speaking to women now, as a woman, not men, women, right? You're the womb of creation. So you have the ability to influence the environment. It's your nature. Meaning what? Meaning if you speak death, doom, and destruction into an environment, you're going to birth that. That's your power. That's God-given. Because that's your element, to birth. So the universe is giving birth. Ancestral knowledge, connections, people ascending, their minds is blowing up, the bendus is lit up, the kundalinis is dripping. All right, but the mother's got to get in play. The feminine energy, because guidance is going to come from the feminine energy. It's going to carry it, right? If you a man, learn something. I don't care what you learn. Educate yourself spiritually, because you're doing the feminine energy to yourself. Learning and nurturing, that's a feminine attribute. Masculine is warfare, right? Not necessarily technical, unlearned. Now, when you get into diving into reading and studying and doing it, you're doing the feminine aspect. So the feminine energy is needed, right? In other words, it's time for us to begin to learn something spiritually. And for the women who manifest a womb in this universe, I'm speaking about the ones that manifest a physical womb. I'm not speaking from a soulless aspect. I'm speaking about divine feminines with the power to birth through your womb, right? You got a special power. Every feminine soul don't have that, right? I'm talking about feminines that have a womb. You give birth to the environment, all right? So begin to birth. This is year 9. Your aspect is needed. Let's stop. Even though I know a lot of the masculines pushed women into this masculine era where, women talk crazy and, they are very promiscuous like men. They under the influences, all of that. I understand all of that. But as a woman that has a womb, you got to know your influence, what you going to do with it? What you going to birth? Because everything you say, particularly if you're a spiritually aware being and you sensitive, that means you a conduit for activity. Things flow through you, positive and negative. So out of your word comes a manifestation. So if somebody a MFer, this and a screwdriver, every other word, And your environment is that. That's exactly what your environment is going to be made of. And the people that communicate in your environment, they're going to communicate the same way. All right. Last but not least, this is a tricky one. Spirit says 3 folds of karma or 10 folds of dharma, right? 3 folds of karma or 10 folds of dharma, okay? Now, the 3-fold law, it speaks of, I'm going to give it to you from this aspect. When you go out here and you tamper around in magic, spell work, baneful energy, maleficum, when you participate in the energy of maleficum or malefic activities, malevolent, evil, baneful, right? You're going to get the karma. It's going to come back to you, right? It's a law that's attached to that. See, everything you do, the thing about doing baneful things, you might do some things that work, right? And you even living on borrowed time then. But the things you do that don't work, they work on you. 3 folds of karma. Is that what you want? Or do you want to establish 10 folds of balance, right? See what you do when 10 folds of dharma. Dharma is good energy. So it's like basically the question here being asked by spirit is, what are you manifesting? Is it karma or is it dharma? Because if you out here playing in the dark and you taking shortcuts, I want to tell you something. You dealing with people who ascending and they ancestors, they not playing, right? See, it was once a time where you could attack people in the world spiritually and you could get away with it, you know. Do little tricks from Anton Levy and Aleister Crowley, and you could really, but now it's not that easy, because see, now the universe is waking people up. So when you go do baneful things, just be mindful. People got the power to send it back now. People got the power to see what's going on now. So when you're a person that go in that, you're going to establish your own folds of karma. And they will meet you, right? Expediently, Spirit says. It's not a game. It's not a time where it take a long time. It come right back around right now. You dealing with spiritually enlightened beings. The universe is lit spiritually, collectively, right? So what? It's not the same thing to play around. See, once it was a time where people was attacking sleep folk and dead folk. Not now. People attacking people who waking up, their ancestors waking up, they stepping into their powers, they can see. So don't be a person. Be the one with 10 folds of dharma, meaning sow seeds of life and watch them grow expediently. The same way karma returning, it's the same way dharma showing up. And learn how to notice it when it comes. Everybody wanted to show up in the form of coins. You know what? It's so much stuff way more valuable than a coin. And this thing we call life, it's about that energy that produce coins. Money gonna follow you. That's part of dharma. You never gonna reach what you want creating folds of karma, because you gotta pay that. That's a debt. Every time we establish karma, we don't escape it, not until it clears out. So be a person going about in life throwing little seeds of dharma. That way, as you go along, you be like, oh, that's for me? Okay, thank you, Spirit. Thank you, God. Oh, those, and then your ancestors, they be pleased with you, right? Because if you're not using your gift that God gave you, you're taking up space. In reality, if you think about it, If you got a God-given gift and you sitting down on it, you're taking up space. You're going to lose it. I'm not talking about the people that struggle. I'm not talking about the people that go through days where you're not motivated. No, I'm talking about the people that know you got a God-given gift, but you're going to sit down on it. It's going to leave you. That's universal law. Whatever you don't use, you lose it. So it's time for somebody to be encouraged. To step into your gift is going to make a way for yourself. All right? Now, that was your reading. I pray that it resonated. I might be back a little late on. Most likely 12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Other than that, you all be encouraged. I love you all.